morning.
Morning.
How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well out there. I feel like I wanted to say, I hope you're doing well out there in TV land. Then see, I don't know why.
Is that from something?
I feel like it's probably from one specific thing, but in my head,
It's from everything.
every television presenter from like the 1950s and 60s would say, hope you're doing well out there in TV land. You know?
I don't remember that from when I was alive.
I don't remember that from when I was alive in the 60s either, because I wasn't. That's the mood I'm in this morning. So, it's Final Fantasy Day, because it's Monday.
Yep.
We have our coffee. We have our bagels.
Well, our coffee's not in our cups yet.
Well, it's over there.
It's right in front of us, though.
And we're going to start the day off kind of slow and relaxing, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah, I think so. I think we're going to pick up... We have the Little Ladies' Day is going on, which is based on...
Wait, is it really called the Little Ladies' Day?
Yeah, well, it's based on the Japanese festival for, like, girls coming of age.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
like-
so it really is called Little Ladies' Day.
It's like the girls' fest. It, like, roughly translated, I think it's actually more like girls' festival or something like that. But, you know.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be all that involved, I don't think. I think it's sort of like Valentine's.
Watch. This is going to require 97 hours of work. Our cat, one of our cats, has decided to join us.
The evil tabaxi god.
Yes. There's a good tabaxi god, and there's an evil tabaxi god. That's the evil one. There. So,
Oh.
I didn't know if you were ready.
I'm always ready for coffee.
Okay. There we go. So we're basically, this is like a beauty pageant.
Yeah, a little fashion show.
Okay.
So we're surveying. There's also confetti for sale. One-time use confetti things. Right? Peach and cherry.
Oh, okay.
Over at the Royal Handmaiden.
Fashion face-off. Ooh, is Nicolas Cage gonna make an appearance? It's a face-off.
I got it. Unfortunately.
Except it's about fashion.
So we have to survey.
There he is. Unoccupied citizen. Well, why aren't you occupied, citizen?
You need to get yourself a job. Right?
I'm a manatee?
This is
I live in the ocean?
You live in the ocean because you don't got a job.
It's an old Jim Gaffigan joke.
From way back. Oh, I did a flip while it was loading. See, when it had that little blackout screen, my character was doing a flip right then.
Exactly. No, that's one.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of like the Valentine's where you basically talk to a few people and then you get your reward.
Good morning, Totterbert.
Morning.
Hello, how are you? Steps of thought, where?
Oh, I have to talk to this muscular citizen.
Where am I supposed to go?
Just go. Close your map.
Okay.
Go straight forward.
Just go straight through? Okay.
Yeah.
I ran through the dots. I'm special. I went through the dots. What we're doing right now is running around surveying citizens about beauty pageants. That's the quest we're on.
There's a seasonal event happening in Final Fantasy, and we're glad you finally get to watch our live streams. Yeah, this should be our new time going forward, starting about now, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be using this time for a while. The other time was just, we were running ragged doing the evening streams. We thought when we first started that it would be a good time for us, and there were a lot of things about it that made sense, and then
In practice,
then we were wrong. We were wrong. And it is important to admit when you're wrong,
Yep.
and we were very wrong.
I think it's the Goldsmith's Guild.
Yeah, there it is.
Once you talk to everyone.
No, you're right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fashion face-off. Here's Maribel.
And she says, darling.
I hadn't read. Does she really say it like darling?
Yeah, it's spelled D-A-H.
That's really atrocious.
See? Right there at the last word.
Yeah. She does. That's horrible. I love
Why
it.
is that atrocious? I like it. You.
Any chance for an Ultima Online stream from Totterbert?
If we have never
Maybe.
thought about it, but we could.
We never thought about doing a UO stream. We might, though.
Last time I think I played UO was 2003.
The last time I played UO was, I have never played UO. I've never gotten a chance to play it. Because when UO started, I didn't have the internet.
Mm-hmm.
At either household that I lived at. My parents were
Right, I'm
divorced,
supposed to skip cussing.
so lived in two separate houses. Neither of them had the internet until 2004. I mean, my dad had like, who remembers Net Zero? The free internet where it just like, it gave you a browser full of ads, just crammed full of ads.
Is that how it worked?
Yeah,
It was just advertising-based internet.
exactly. It was just internet with a whole bunch of ads.
Now
And
we
then-
get that for hundreds of dollars a
I
month.
mean, the thing is that you would pay for AOL and all these other things, and you'd still see all the same ads. Net Zero would just like say, "All right, that's how we're gonna pay for your service."
Yeah, but you could skate by on AOL with all the free CDs that were floating around all the time.
I mean, you generally could, yeah. Emerald Avenue. Where's Emerald Avenue?
Go to the Adventurers Guild.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, my dad did have Net Zero, and that was, in that era, because we didn't have any sort of high-speed line to the house. The best that we ever managed to get at that house was DSL, and
So now
still pretty slow.
I have a little crown to go on my Juggalo makeup head.
Ooh, I like the crown. I like that.
That's the reward.
So, I gotta say, Net Zero wasn't that bad. Well, we had it. It wasn't awful. So I never got to play any sort of online games. Todderbert says yes. Horrible. Yeah. For a kid who had nothing with the internet, Net Zero was okay. And then my mom, she eventually paid for the early days of Comcast, but when that came out, I got cable internet like 3 months before World of Warcraft came out, and then that subsumed my life for 10 years. Not quite that long. I was like 5, I think, 5 or 6. Where are you?
She had a little repeatable follow-up.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice.
It quick.
What's the repeatable follow-up?
It lets you get some of the confetti that you can buy.
Oh, okay. It was peach and cherry confetti. I need to speak with her. How about a master miner? Yes.
I went with the pugilist. Pugilist?
I think it's pugilist.
Pugilist. It's like a French word, right?
Oh, don't worry, Todderbert. It was terrible in every area. But when you have absolutely nothing else, you don't know any better. That was my very first internet. Was Net Zero. That was all I had. And it was like, wow, this is amazing! It's full of all these shiny ads!
They're so fun to click on.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. Oh wow, look at this fashion forward look. She's wearing like leather jeans and sneakers. Look at this look.
That's pretty good.
Especially in an era where this is also an outfit.
That's like the fashionista king.
The fashionista king. This is the only game that I know of that has like a whole culture in the game that simultaneously accepts blue jeans, leather pants, high tops, like all things that require plastics to be made.
Yeah.
Well, simultaneously, like, yes, that chainmail armor and giant sword made of lightning is.
You have never played a Final Fantasy game before, have you?
I kind of mean that statement to all of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, everything...
They're all like...
Everything since 7.
Yeah.
Because before 7, you didn't have enough pixels to properly demonstrate all of those.
They didn't really in 7 either. Let's be honest.
No, they still didn't have enough in 7, but they sure tried. Well, they did in the
Now 8. That's where the fashion happened. Squall with his short bomber jacket, giant fluffy collar, tight leather pants.
Was he the best looking one there?
At the party, yeah.
Yes. I'll pull that up.
Are you finding that meme?
Yes.
Of the best looking guy here. Making fun of the great graphics of the era. That's not the right one.
No.
You have to find the one where someone drew it.
So... Okay. I'm gonna switch this over to my screen. This is the meme. If you've never seen this meme, you're the best looking guy here. Zoom in on the pixels. This is what the pixels look like. So I think if I just click right here, it should. Yeah, someone made a rendering of it.
What the pixels look like.
And I love it. It makes me so happy.
So we've done the Ladies' Day. That's done now.
Yeah, is there another in-game, like, limited time holiday thing going on?
Not holiday. They have the Moogle Treasure Trove going on, which is running
dungeons.
You run dungeons and you get currency that you can exchange for fancy stuff.
Yep.
If you want to see the fancy stuff, it's this itinerant Moogle.
What kind of fancy stuff are we talking about?
So the newest ones. I like that they have this Tamamo headband. Right?
So they have a what is a tamamo?
Tamamo is Tamamo no Mai, the demon fox lady who recently escaped from her imprisonment.
The one that like broke free from the rock and like yeeted off into the world
to like wreak havoc in the universe. Yeah.
I see. My theory is that the rock was broken from all the chaos that we already have going on, and she looked around and was like, "Ah, shit! Someone beat me to it," and then just got the hell out of here.
Yeah. For people who don't know, Tamamo no Mai was or is, I suppose, this fox demon spirit who was famous for going around and destroying entire nations. And she was imprisoned under a killing stone, which is like this giant boulder that had gas leaking out all around it. It was in a volcanic part of Japan. And it had been sealed and protected. Sort of, yeah. It had been sealed off, and this is an actual place in Japan with an actual rock. Sealed off and protected as part of like I think it was Shinto shrine. No one was allowed to go near it, and like a week or two ago, it was a little longer than that. They went up into the restricted area to check on things, and the rock had like shattered, and like the seals were like, you know, the sealing rope and stuff had come off as well. As part of the shattering, so this demon fox lady presumably has escaped after. I think that this has been a shrine sealing her away historically, actually, for like almost 1,000 years. And
yeah, you would know better than I do.
Yeah, so that happened.
So, you know, just don't expect much. I don't like for the next, you know, however many hundreds or thousands of years.
Yeah.
Because there's a destructive demon just running around. The ancient Japanese had been successful in sealing this demon away.
And then we messed up.
And then it decided it was done. It was very done.
You were suggesting we do some gathering for a nice slow casual.
Yeah, do a little gathering this morning. We haven't done gathering on stream, like actual sit down, just enjoy.
We did only a little during while we were waiting for queues, basically. Right?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like a very tiny little bit.
Just a little fragment. Oh yeah, it's quest whale.
Where do we get?
Oh, mining whale right now.
It is mining whale.
Where? What are you looking for?
Alright, what do I need to do? That. Deliver ounces of cinnabar. Do I have to crack those?
What do you need?
10 ounces.
That's like that's Final Fantasy for like counts.
Oh, I was like.
It's Final Fantasy. You know, they call like
Right.
kill
Right.
and
Yeah.
haunts, and so you just need to go collect cinnabar from wherever it's from, cinnabar. Which, if you go to logs and go to gathering log, you should be able to identify. What level is the quest?
Like 15.
Why don't you should maybe go where the iron ore is and try there.
And I can.
Here, I'm actually pretty close to it. I can just fly up on quest whale.
Gonna mute our mic so I take a bite of food.
Ooh. I don't see it in the iron. The cinnabar.
I think it's just a unique like a quest drop from it.
Maybe. What's the quest itself say?
The quest itself said, you know, it's not going to be easy to find, but it did say go search in this location.
Oh, it tells you a location?
Yes, this one, where the iron ore is.
Oh, okay. I like to just, if I'm just gathering iron ore, you can check that little box down there and it will auto-gather.
Right, I forgot about that. It's been a little while. So this week's episode that we aired was you guys finding Jarella, and Tonbert asks,
what kind of GPU? Mine, the one you're on my screen, I have a 3070.
we actually both are running 3070s. What you can't see, because it's just out of shot, is that we are both using laptops.
Yeah, so it's let's see. Behind the scenes.
And I put stickers all over mine.
Which might or might not get green screen. But yeah, they're both, I guess, like the 3070 is built for laptops.
Yeah, so they are the mobile version of the chip. And I'm using an Alienware M15, M17? An M17, that's what I'm using. And you are using an Asus ROG Zephyr.
Yep.
Yes, that's what you are using.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the Intel chipset, I've got an i7, and you have a Ryzen
9.
9 I think you're a
5,000.
5,000,
Yep.
not the 5,500. I think
Yeah,
you're
it's a
5,000.
5,000.
And between these two, we'd purchased each of these at Best Buy, open box, and got
A pretty good deal.
got a pretty good deal because of it. I did have to buy a new power supply for mine, which
Mine had
is
everything.
pretty
though.
whatever, But yours had everything. Although we did have to take yours back because they hadn't reset it. And I think that yours actually runs a tad bit quicker than mine does.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Tyler says
You have a 2060 RTX Super in your tower. Nice.
that's what we have in our compiling computer, our
The
streaming
one,
computer.
yeah. So you have a separate computer to compile all of everything you're seeing together, and that's the same card, right? A 2060 RTX Super.
Come to think
I don't
of it,
think it's a
not a
super.
super. It's just a regular 2060. I have a 2060 Super in my old tower. I had an old computer that I was holding out to upgrade to the 30 series. And
You got
they had two 980
yeah
Ti's. It had dual 980 Ti's
that
in it.
you'd link together, right?
Yeah, they were SLI'd together. I had built this machine back in 2014, and it was a beast. It was just a beast. It was still able to keep up with the most pressing games right up until the moment that the graphics cards both just went both of them at the same time just absolutely died. So the 30 series had not come out. They'd been announced, but we hadn't seen them when they died. This is like May or June 2020. So I got a 2060 Super in that tower, and then I ended up building a new one that's got a 3090 in it, and oh, it's so nice. Tadabert, you've got a few Titan Blacks. Nice.
If you want Cinnabar, it's over here.
Oh, did you?
In the rocky outcrops, not the iron ores.
Oh, okay. So I was just casually running around.
Well, having for extra iron isn't really a problem.
No. No. Here we are.
Are my bags full? Yikes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, using Titan Blacks for SETI crunching, that they would be very good for that. How long have you been doing SETI crunching for, Todderbert?
Is that SETI like the
Search for extraterrestrial life
extraterrestrial?
intelligence. I had my computer set up to do that in college, and when I moved out, then I didn't have decent internet anymore, so I couldn't do it any longer. They run
1999.
Prime Grid water cooled. Nice. So I don't know if you saw this. It is, from a technical standpoint, not interesting at all. It is what?
Just like your
Oh, well,
your
we'll get there.
statement that
From a technical standpoint, this isn't even remotely interesting to computer geeks. Because they achieved nothing new, they didn't do anything super cool with it, but from a design standpoint, I absolutely love and I think it was Seagate that put out some Mandalorian-inspired external HDDs and internal SDDs
That look like
as well as M2 drives that look like
Beskar.
Imperial Beskar steel. They're pretty cool looking. They're way more money than it's worth for any of that, but man, it's cool looking. I saw it was, I think it was late last week.
You're pretty tempted.
So that's so cool. The internal stuff is like whatever. Just because it's internal, you don't really get to have a very good look at it most of the time. But the external HDD, that one had like a nice little blue underglow to it. It's pretty cool. It's just one of those nice, dorky add-ons to your computers. I could not justify spending it, even though we use a lot of external storage
For all the show
this
storage. Yeah.
we keep all the originals of everything we stream, unedited and unaltered from its original state. We keep all of those in case we ever want to go back to them or need them. And I've got an 8 terabyte from Western Digital. It's not the fastest out there, but it's pretty darn good, and certainly good for storage. And their external HDD had a 2 terabyte, and it cost more than the 8 terabyte that I have. I could not justify it.
Tyrant has some of the Blue Devil. Is that printed on my Intel SSDs?
Yeah.
Nice.
Some of the blue, nice. I like that. I love that in computing these days, everything's got some style to it. Nothing is just bland anymore.
But you know what I actually kind of miss? I miss the beige computer case.
Oh, you can get those now.
Can you? They make them again?
Yeah, it's becoming...
It's
years-
finally cool again?
So a few years ago, this fashion trend called normcore
Oh, yeah.
came around, which was just like very
Bland.
bland. And it could most easily be described as
Weezer.
no, like Jerry and Jerry Seinfeld.
Okay.
Just like slacks, button shirt, you know. And yeah, Todder's got a beige is the new black. Exactly. A few years ago when normcore was going around, that's what it was. And along with that came this whole... there was this big aesthetic push within certain corners of the computing world
To do
that
the
wanted
beige
that
base.
wanted to go back to
that sort of off-white beige.
the off-white beige, because we had taken mechanical keyboards and then we'd like slicked them all up, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, that's the only thing you had was a
Right.
mechanical keyboard, and now everyone was going, I kind of miss the clicky clicky clacky clack, you know.
The clickety-clack.
People kind of missed it, and then they wanted it, and then they started making a lot of. So like this is the weird world we live in. People were paying quite a bit of money for customized keycaps for mechanical keyboards, and mechanical keyboard styles that were just like emulating stuff that was 20 or 30 years old to sound just like it used to, which is to say very loud.
Back in the good old days when you were playing, like, StarCraft and trying not to, like, wake up your parents with the sound of the keys.
Slowly depress it, and it doesn't matter how slow you do it.
But,
Clonk!
but you're playing StarCraft, so you have to be like, you know, and they're doing it.
I didn't have any computer games to keep my parents up.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything like that. I did have my own little or yes, Warcraft 2 timer board.
Warcraft 2, yeah. It was Warcraft 2, second one was it Tides of Darkness? Oh boy.
I don't know, never played it.
Too long.
There's like a whole generation of computer games that I missed because the one computer that we had for a very long time at my dad's was a 1993 Mac Power PC.
And all those old games, you're like, all right, let's install it, and you stack up your 12 floppy disks. Oh boy.
Age of Empires.
I played Age of Empires 2 a lot. I did a lot of I played England a lot and did Longbowmen Deathfalls. Where you just have a huge pile of longbowmen and a huge ball. And anything that comes near you just dies instantly because they have like the longest range in the game.
Mule. M-U-L-E. What is Mule, Todderbert? I have not heard of this. And I love learning about things. So when someone can tell me something, I'm just like, what is that? Now, after we're done streaming, I'll spend like 18 hours
looking it up,
reading the Wikipedia articles about it. Who's ever done that? Yeah.
Although for me, my young times were completely dominated with point and clicks.
See, this is the one area where you and I have like a little bit of overlap.
Mm-hmm.
And I do mean just a little bit because I grew up with either having a very unusable Windows computer at my mom's, where it was just like, it can do Word and that's it. Or my dad's, or I had a Mac. And the Mac was just like a little more powerful. It was a gift from my uncle to us. And it could play some games, whereas the computer at my mom's really couldn't.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
And we had the little bit of overlap where I played Myst, and you of course also played Myst and Riven.
Myst and Riven. Multi-use labor element, a fun resource game. Huh. And it was on the NES.
Huh. Multi-use labor element. All right.
Huh. You'll have to look that up.
Oh, I'm going to check that out.
At first, when I saw the mule spelled out, at first I was like, oh, a mud. But that's, multi-user dungeon. Which was like the old text-based sort of MMO, basically.
We do have one other game in common that you grew up with, as did I.
Mm-hmm.
SimCity 2000.
SimCity 2000. Yeah, you build a nice city and then you intentionally use all the cheat codes to create the weather effects like tornadoes and stuff and just blow your whole city up.
I never did that.
Really?
No.
Oh. Yeah, I would always use the cheat codes to blow the city up.
I would never do any of that.
Do you ever play roguelike games? More recently, you've kind of gotten into roguelites, but...
Yeah, actually, I thought I never really cared much for roguelike games, but now I've gotten really into roguelites. And it all started with Hades.
So I played, I didn't play Rogue proper, really. There was some game, I have to look it up now, because I played it a lot. I think it had winds in the name. Yeah, I played Castle of the Winds. I don't know if anyone has ever played or heard of that. Here, switch it to your screen quick. I'm gonna...
ADOM. Old school. What is... I'm guessing it was, referred to as Adam. That's another one I haven't heard of.
Okay.
Ancient Domains of Mystery. Oh, now that's an acronym. Ancient Domains of Mystery or Adam? Oh, wow. I'm into that acronym. I like that one.
I'm trying to find a good depiction of what Castle of the Winds looked like.
And NetHack.
Alright,
I have heard of NetHack.
This is what the inventory for Castle of the Winds looked like. It was very high-tech graphics.
I mean, honestly, there are parts about that graphic that I find more useful than a lot of the current inventory displays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
This was sort of what the map looked like. Stuff like this. This was the game. There's a bunch of dungeon that you would go through. But
that looks really cool.
I played that so much, Castle of the Winds. I don't think I ever bought it. I think it was like someone gave it to me on a copy of it, basically, on some disc. But I sure played a lot of it. I also play. There's a more modern sort of. It's called Stone Soup, and it's a roguelike that has. It's kind of updated, but it's still in that old graphic style.
There were a couple of games last couple of years that really surprised me that I liked them because I never liked that style until I tried this one.
Yeah, and you kind of prefer the roguelite versus the roguelike a little more, where there's sort of a passive growth between.
Yeah, and I think what really gets me there is the story elements that come with the roguelite.
Yeah, sort of carry through.
Yeah, that carry through each time. I fell in love, as did most of the gaming world, with Hades in 2020. When that was given an official release, it had been in open beta for a long time. I really liked...
You played Returnal.
I liked Returnal quite a bit. It's not as good as Hades. It's another roguelite, and it's
these are both action roguelikes. They're not. So a traditional roguelike is turn-based.
Yeah. Whereas these are action-based roguelites.
Yeah.
And I really liked both of them. Liked Hades a whole lot. Liked Returnal pretty well. It wasn't as good. I tried Star Wars Fallen Order, which is from EA.
That's more Souls.
And I was talking about games that I'm surprised I liked.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I tried that game, and I never really cared much for
the Souls style.
I'm sure I'll teleport to Elport. Why not? I've never really cared much for the Soulsborne style, but I played it and I was like, I don't know. And then I tried that. Oh, are we going somewhere together?
We're getting grade 1 carbonized matter.
Oh, okay. I tried that one, and I just loved it.
You're shutting down to reduce RFI for your radio videos.
Perfectly fine.
Thank you.
It's
for
been
coming.
lovely talking with you, Tauerbert. I like that you can join us in this new time. Are they in the rocky outcroppings?
I think so. Maybe. They're in the zone.
It confused the heck out of me because you landed there and I'm like, oh, hey, there's one right here, great. And then I looked on my map and it wasn't there.
Thank you.
I'm glad you'll be watching more of our videos. I like this. It's nice to get to talk with you. In general, I like this time more.
Yes. So it says gather. Oh, I went to the wrong area. Oops.
Oh, I got some mudstone here.
So I had clicked on limestone and mudstone, but the grade 1 carbonized matter is over in the Summerford area. So if you want to hop on Questville, I can take this now.
Oh, sure. I'll do that. So I've been thinking about picking up a copy of Elden Ring.
Everyone's been playing.
Yeah, everyone has been playing.
Literally every person. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we will be getting the European crowd a little bit more, won't we, Tyler? Because we stream at times when people in Europe are still awake.
And they've come to age, you know?
I mean, if I brushed up on my German and we ran like a German stream once a week where
Really,
just,
really bad German.
just like
Completely out of practice German stream.
just a terrible German stream. Schreckliche Deutsch.
Sehr.
Sehr schreckliche Deutsch.
Yeah.
We could just do that once a week, and then I'm sure we would get. Knowing Germans, there probably would be a fair number of Germans that would like to tune in to watching two Americans butcher the language and laugh
Just
at
being
us.
very bad at it.
And I do mean laugh at us for how bad it would be. I like learning German because, as an English speaker, we draw our grammatical structure from German. And it made it a lot easier to make that leap mentally in learning a new language because the grammatical structure is the same. Because I have learned German and I've learned Spanish.
I learned German and Japanese.
And I imagine that Japanese is much bigger grammatical structurally.
You do need to spend the first, period of time just learning the alphabet because they use a very... They don't... Like, at least in German and, all most of the... Well, pretty much all the Latin languages, you have pretty much the same alphabet. Like, there might be a couple weird ones, like an umlaut here or there. But it's really not hard to wrap your head around something like that. It's not like learning kanji or Cyrillic or, any of the completely different alphabets that you have to just learn the characters before you can really do anything.
Now, that was something that I wanted to do, but it kind of fell apart because of the pandemic and also just a lack of time. I wanted to learn to speak Greek.
Oh, yeah. Because we went to Greece and you got really into
Yeah. Well, I thought it was very pretty sounding language when I heard people speaking it. And well, it just struck me as kind of interesting. I really liked going to Greece. I really loved the country. I loved everything about it. It was great while we were there. And I said I'd like to eventually learn to speak Greek so that when we go back, I can actually speak with people. And I haven't had the time to do that. I was gonna devote, just do some simple things that you can do in adult life to learn a language. And just like listen when we were driving, when I was driving, because I used to have 2.5 hour commute total each day, and yeah, that was a lot of time, but never got around to it because then eventually I stopped commuting. I still would like to do that one day. You know, a couple years ago, they studied the kind of the idea that children can learn a language more easily than adults can.
Yeah, there is like, hey, children have a more like
their brains are more
plastic or whatever. You know,
because of the plasticity of their brain.
Yeah.
They have an easier time learning a language, and they found that it's not true.
Really? I believe that.
They found that children do have an easier time with some elements of learning a new language, but also a harder time learning elements of a new language. For example, adults have an easier time understanding the grammatical structure, whereas children have an easier time just kind of picking up new words that they already know. But children will have a harder time with words that they don't know already. I think this would... I don't know if I'm repeating this completely accurately, but the point of all this studying came down to children don't actually have an easier time learning a new language. What they have is more time given to them to learn the language because they can be immersed in it in a school or have an hour or two every day or every other day.
Or they have like
to do nothing but speak that language.
one
Whereas
or two
adults,
parents that speak it at home versus where they speak it at a different language at school.
Exactly. Whereas adults don't actually have that amount of time in their life. And I think this was a study, I want to say out of Israel. For some reason that sounds right. And they found that if adults had the same amount of time that children did to learn language, they learn language just as quickly as a child. If they can study it at the same rate that a child can. That learning a language when you're older does not really increase the difficulty or decrease the likelihood that you're going to remember it.
What?
I'm just releasing the tension on this port. I saw that the cable was tight, so I just releasing that tension.
No, I mean, that makes total sense to me. Like,
I think there's a lot of things that we just throw up as like, oh yeah, kids have an easier time doing this stuff because it's easy for us as adults to give ourselves an excuse to not do something.
well, we love to look at results of things and be like, oh, it's just the kids are more naturally able to do this than adults, when in reality with almost every single thing it's just access, basically, is what dictates it. You're like, oh, all the good baseball players come out of this like area, like, or you know, like, all the great baseball players are either American or Japanese, and it's like those are the two countries that play baseball.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so there's more people playing it. You know,
Like, it's not that. Like, I don't believe that. Kenya fields a national hockey team. I don't think that they have a national hockey team that they send to the Olympics.
right?
Does it mean that Kenyans are just not good at playing hockey? No,
They
I mean,
just don't have ice rinks.
They just haven't been playing it.
There's not regularly available ice rinks and hockey equipment to a large portion of the population like there is in Canada.
Yeah, it's not part of the local culture.
Yeah.
So we draw these conclusions from data, and we draw the incorrect conclusion because we don't look at the whole data set and say, oh, well, here's a better conclusion. I remember reading, what was it? Mathematicians had determined that language is influenced by culture.
Oh wow!
Yes,
they figured
I
that
think
out.
that was the report.
Like,
do you remember when
they did like machine learning or something, and it like came to the conclusion that like the culture and how a culture uses a language changes how the language is used.
Yeah, like the culture
Or something stupid.
Yeah, like the local culture is somehow influencing the language. I forget all the conclusions it came to, but it was all stuff that anyone who had studied the humanities just went, well, no shit.
Yeah.
Obviously. Like, well, we proved it with math, and like, you didn't need math to prove that. You can draw those conclusions. Quite a few years ago now, the Nobel Prize in Economics, right? This is the Nobel Prize in Economics, were two economists who had disproved a fundamental principle, a basis of modern economic concepts. And modern economics, it rests on the idea that a human being will always behave and make financial choices and decisions that are in their best interest financially. And that's the key here. Human beings will make decisions based on their best financial interest. And what they proved is that that isn't always the case. And then went every humanist person out there, everyone who studied humanities, went, no shit! And they won the Nobel Prize in Economics for proving that humans don't always behave rationally through one specific lens. And it's like, common sense and basic observation could have told you that, but you didn't want to look there. You just wanted to look at numbers and make numbers work. Because, as we've seen during the Great Resignation, a whole bunch of people are just bewildered that their people are quitting their jobs. They're doing other things. Or they don't want to come back to the office. They want to move places that are less expensive to live or have time for family. You know, and all of these things are not in people's financial best interest, but they are in the best interest of literally all of their emotional health. And this is the crazy part. This is what drives me nuts about the groups that study natural sciences, as they're called. Which I think is also just such a weird thing. Called the natural sciences, everything that doesn't study humans.
I study the unnatural sciences. Necromancy, for example.
I probably have enough carbonized matter, don't I?
Yeah, you have way too much.
Way too much. I'm gonna go back. And this has driven like every humanities major nuts for ages now, where mathematicians, economists, physicists, machine learning experts, they come in and they're like, mathematically we have proven this. And it's like, we already knew that. Well, yes, but now we know it with numbers.
We used machine learning.
But I studied history. And you studied history.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically art history.
I studied regular history, too.
Yes, you did. And we often just get into these screaming matches with each other where we're both just screaming into the ether about how stupid all this is. Such is the life of the humanities. What do I need the most? Probably that. If I hear one more person come over and talk to me about STEM, I'm gonna slap them. STEM's the most important thing in the whole world. Really? Is STEM gonna get us out of nuking each other? I don't think so. I have opinions about this.
Well, yeah, the engineers will make missiles to shoot down the nukes.
There we go. Of course. And don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't appreciate STEM subjects.
They do a lot.
I started off as a computer science engineering major. This is an area that I have familiarity with. They are subjects that I understand. It's that we put, in my opinion, too much emphasis on these things without considering balancing with ideas of morality and ethics and discussing impact on those around us. That is my beef with all this.
Mm-hmm.
That we often discuss these things in a vacuum. We don't consider what the impact might be of creating a technology and what's right to do with it and what's wrong to do with it. And we see this going on at Google over the last 2 years with machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
In their AI division, that they had hired an ethicist, someone who had specialized in the ethics of machine learning and artificial intelligence, and she was warning against how they were using the technology.
Definitely sounds like someone who's gonna get fired.
And she got fired. She spoke out publicly against the management's direction of the program at Google, and they fired her. And her colleagues were just livid. This was fairly big news in this. And this is what I'm talking about when we don't pay attention to these sorts of things. When we devalue humanities, we devalue arts. Because it's through arts that we explore our humanity, explore emotions. I don't know. Do we need to do something in quarry now?
I'm just going to go gather silver ore. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Supply and provisioning. raw malachite.
And a latex crayfish.
Latex and crayfish.
Sounds like a party.
So, raw malachite. Where can I find raw malachite? Firebone. Up there. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah, they needed copper sand for mine. Which I think was, Horizon. I should do that.
So we got off on a long discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to finish asking. The episode that was just broadcast yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That was you guys in our D&D show meeting Jarella.
Yeah, that was big.
It was. That was a fairly big deal. You end that episode, and I've been teasing this for a couple weeks on our Monday updates, which will be out later today. That you guys are going to be fighting Brukelion, and you end this episode
Throwing.
right before you fight Brukelion.
Yep.
And because we're jerks, we're actually taking this Sunday off. We are not going to be broadcasting a new episode this Sunday.
Leaving it really on that cliffhanger.
Yep.
Yeah.
We will be back the following Sunday. We are taking just a little time this week. And we've mentioned a few times that we have some of our cast on vacation right now. And so they are unable to join us, unable to film with us. And because of that, we're going to take this week off. So you guys met Jarella. And you had a chance to talk with him?
Yeah.
This is a big part of your story as a changeling.
It really is, yeah. You had a question?
Yeah. What'd you think of it? What's your reaction to this episode? How you feeling?
I mean, it was pretty awesome. I'm excited to see what happens with Brukelion here. And it was very out of left field for me running into Jarella there. It's the last thing I was expecting, honestly. Given that he's supposed to be like 2,000 years old at that point. Right? About?
Yeah, a little older than that.
A little older?
Yeah. He's old.
So, I had no expectations to run into him like that. So, I don't know, it was really cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. You did a good job.
So you've already, of course, fought Brukelion, as people know. They've had the fight.
Some of us might even have lived.
No one knows how it turns out other than our group right now. What did you hope you would get from fighting Brukelion?
Me as a player or me as Soria?
Well, how about you as a player first?
Well, I was kind of hoping to capture Brukelion alive so that I could interrogate him for information and impersonate him. As a player.
Okay.
And that might have happened. It might not have. Like, I don't know how to answer all of this stuff without, like, spoilers.
Well, I'll sort of ask a larger question. Where are you hoping that this leads to long term? Where are you hoping that we get to go and explore long term in this?
I guess Soria ultimately wants to go to Unrissa.
Okay.
That's like her long-term goal is to find Unrissa and like all that. But I think that long-term goal might be changing for her as time goes on. I think what was her dream of finding Onrissa for her people and everything is maybe after everything that she's been going through in Unristo here is kind of shifting, and I think she's more coming around. It's a loose idea right now. I think she's coming around to the idea that actually what she needs to do, and with her skill set and everything as a druid, what she actually needs to do for her people is find their original home in the Feywild.
Okay, so you slash Soria. Believe that the Changeling's original home still lies somewhere within the Feywild.
At least an echo of it.
Okay.
And if she can restore that, that would be something worth doing. You know?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And she's definitely not gonna, you know, turn into the villain of the campaign where she is tearing a rift open between the material plane and the Feywild to, like, merge the two and cause the Agmar Nodal to have a total breakdown.
I like that I introduced the Agmar Nodal, and I wrote them years ago. Years and years ago, I wrote them. And Soria, your first reaction was just...
And immediate hatred.
I hate them!
Why do I sound like a French panda?
I don't know. I don't know. That's...
I hate them! The sacre bleu!
That's a mystery for another day. That's...
Oh, those Agmar Nodals, they know so much, eh?
Yeah.
I mixed a little Watto in there. You think you know so much, eh?
You think you know so much?
Little Lenny?
Little Lenny.
Good times.
Is it?
No.
Okay. Oh, Watu.
Watto.
Is it Watto or
It's Watto.
Watu?
It's Watto.
Watto? Oh. I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, he's a dick, Watto.
Yeah, he's a slave owner. Like when he loses everything at the race, and
You're
then
like-
you come back later and you find
He's like-
that he's absolutely destitute. I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is how it should be.
That's karma, isn't it? You're lucky to be alive, aren't you?
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
You dick. That person is part of a free company just called Meow. I love it.
Meow. We were talking about the Agmar Nodal, and then you tried to do Soria's voice and made it into a French female Watto.
Hey, I didn't say that I wasn't going to distract us from, like, everything.
But what did you have to say about Soria?
I forget. Yep, completely forget.
How she's going to tear the planar boundaries between the Fey realm and the material world apart.
Yeah, sounds right. I'm gonna do a little.
That's honestly how she's probably gonna end the campaign, when like everything is done and she's like level 1000. She's just gonna like disappear into the Feywild, never to be seen again. Yeah. And then you
I'm sorry, I
can
was chewing.
then you can bring her back in a few campaigns as like the big bad.
You want me to bring her back as the big bad?
I don't know. See how it goes. See how she murdered people now,
So she's just like,
so anything's fair game. I mean, yeah, she didn't actually expect, because that episode's aired, the one with the ice knife.
oh, that's quite a few
Yeah,
episodes ago.
yeah, that's a good while ago. So like, you know, I mean, you know how much, you know, Nines will just keep telling her how much a murderer she is until she murders Nines.
The campaign will get real dark.
Yeah.
So watch yourself, Nines. If you're listening, which you're not.
He doesn't like us.
I don't like us either.
We're wanted in 7 stars.
We're wanted girls. She's got the death sentence on 12 systems.
Gross. Duros face. I don't know how to do a Duros face.
And if anyone, I don't know if anyone remembers these, but there was a book series called Star Wars Galaxy of Fear. And they were, they came out about the same time that Goosebumps had really become a big popular thing. And the Star Wars Galaxy of Fear, that that had like a whole bunch of just off the wall weird kind of stories, and one of them, I think it was the second book, actually followed the story
Of those guys.
of the guy who said, "We're wanted men," before he got to that point. And like it talks about how that guy specifically became wanted. And he was wanted because he was doing like genetic experiments and stuff and like created all these monsters.
Is that why he looks so funky?
I think that was the idea, yeah.
Because he had like
Like really bad burn scars.
I thought he had like sort of like I mean, they made him look a little like piggy or something.
I think that too. It was a weird looking character. Yeah, Star Wars Galaxy of Fear. If you are looking for something to read, don't bother with those. They're written for like 4th graders.
If you're looking for something to read,
they're not
choose
very
a good
well written.
book.
They're just not.
If you're looking for something to read the Twilight.
I mean, don't. But also, if you want to, go ahead. We are reading Midnight Sun, which is Twilight from Edward's perspective. And it is much thicker than the original Twilight.
There's a lot more inner monologue.
more.
There's a lot more self-hating inner monologue.
I mean, if you thought that a book written from the perspective of a teenage girl was filled with melodramatic inner monologue and self-loathing and doubt,
Imagine someone
You've
who's
never
been a
read-
teenage
Sure.
boy for 100 years. Well, 90 years.
yeah. There's a lot of self-loathing.
There's a lot to unpack there, and it should stay packed.
It should have stayed packed.
Should have stuffed that even deeper down inside of him and never let it come out.
But it's a fun read right now. It's a fun read.
I'm like, you're reading it, and I'm just like, huh. I hate Edward even more now.
Yep.
Like, I specifically
hate Edward.
hated Edward already. And I'm like, oh boy, he's even worse, isn't he?
It's, oof. Oof. We had just, if you are looking for a good book to read, a book that we had just finished, it was actually a book series.
The Grishaverse ones.
We had just finished the first Grishaverse installment. Trilogies, yes. The first Grishaverse trilogy. Which started with
Shadow
and Bone, and then went to, what was the second one called?
It was the scale one.
Yeah, what was I blanking on it?
Something in scales.
And then the last was Ruin and Rising.
Yeah.
They're really good. The Netflix show got us interested in it, and having read the books and having seen the show, like the show,
Siege and Storm.
Siege and Storm. The show has a pretty interesting take because they're combining a couple of different elements in it.
Yeah, they're adding, like, they're taking from one of the other book series. I think, is it like King of Crows or something?
I think it's King of Crows, maybe. But they're combining two stories, and I think they're supposed to be happening essentially simultaneously.
Yeah, but they weren't, like...
That's not how they were originally.
They have, like, this
written in
whole
there.
Cass character. I think it was Cass, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Kaz, maybe. Who's not at all in the original trilogy.
But is a character from other books.
Yeah.
They're following two stories simultaneously. I don't know if it got lit for more seasons, but we really liked it.
I think it has a second season.
We really got into that show. The books are quite good. I admit I'm not crazy
About the end.
about the ending of
The trilogy. It's a young adult novel.
It's still
Yeah,
young
I
adult,
get
but
it.
it's very fun to read. It's a good book.
You.
In a firmly adult book that I finished a couple years ago, but if we're talking about books to read, I'll always recommend,
Gentleman in Moscow.
yes, A Gentleman in Moscow. That is a really fantastic book. And there is I can't land there? Okay. There is also a very well produced audiobook. If you are interested in an audiobook version of it, it is a really well produced audiobook. It's called A Gentleman in Moscow. It is fictitious, but
Sort of loosely placed historically.
It's placed in a historic context and given a lot of life because of that placement. And it's a really fantastic read. Absolutely loved it. So if you are ever thinking, I need something to read, Gentleman in Moscow, that is well worth your time. Gotta get some silver. Are you doing the quest?
Yeah, for effervescent.
Oh, no, I just came up here to get mining on.
Well, pick up 15 effervescent water while you're here.
Good to know.
That's the quest. The level 25 quest.
I think this is a good idea for this morning.
Just have a slow, relaxing morning.
Yeah. That's the reason that we actually started playing this game.
What?
Because it is slow, it is relaxing. You can just sit here and chat while you run around and just gather some things. And now that we can fly, it makes gathering so much nicer.
Mm-hmm. We need to get through the MSQ to get to the higher level areas at some point.
Completely struck out on that node.
You can always use sharp vision.
Oh, yeah, just not bothering right now. It's one of those, you know. Although this one I got a bonus on. So I will use it on this. I know there's, because I pre us doing this stream on other tunes, there's definitely a whole like strategy and like cooldown use to maximizing your mining and everything. But I'm just not feeling it this morning. Really? Even with sneak on?
Do you have sneak on? Because
Well-
you don't have a little ring around you.
Well, it was on. Does it turn off when you teleport?
Yeah, it might, yeah.
I hadn't noticed that falling off. starting at 15. Could use some more silver ore.
Yeah, I've just been gathering silver ore because it's used in a lot of things.
Yeah, higher level goldsmithing. Silver ore is used all over the place. I think later tonight, I might just sit down and maybe we'll read for like an hour or two. Sounds kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really had lost the love of reading for quite a few years.
No, there's a book that I got on like a digital reader, and I really liked it. I read it just recently on my phone, and
Is this the one that we ordered a physical version?
yeah, so I bought a physical version so we could read it together. It's fairly short. It's called Legends and Lattes. It's in our D&D sort of vibe. And it just came out. I highly recommend it. It's adorable. And it's basically a orc barbarian. Like a Dungeons and Dragons like adventure orc barbarian who wants to retire from, you know, the endless murdering of monsters and settle down. You know, she's kind of like, her back's starting to give out from constant fighting and using a greatsword, and she just wants to settle down. So she opens a cafe in the city, and it's about, I think it's billed as a low stakes adventure. Yeah, it's really cute. I like it a lot. And there's a little romance subplot.
Oh, romantic subplots. Like, that's the best.
But it's not like the main thrust of the book, but there's like this little underlying romantic subplot with her and well, I don't want to spoil it, but
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, so...
it's adorable, the book. I love it.
Now, there's an idea for a stream that would be, I think, a lot of fun, but also the rights.
Oh,
you really have
like
to
a
like
reading.
Yeah, the rights management on that stream would be crazy. It would be crazy.
Because it's harder to argue transformative when it's like versus a video game, I guess, right? If you're just reading a book.
Yeah, if you're just reading, like, even if you're like doing some voices to it and everything, that's not transformative. That's not. Otherwise, if it were, you'd just have people who are like, oh, I'm gonna make an audio version of this book.
Yeah,
you know?
you're just like,
And now
oh, I can get the audio book
Yeah.
for free on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So you couldn't do that. You would have to like have the rights to it all written out and have like a structured agreement.
But that would be pretty cool to do if you were an author and you were like, I'm gonna read my book and like post it on YouTube. You know, like authors go around and do book readings.
Yeah, they'll read a passage from the book.
Like if you did that, like one chapter, an episode or something, and released it over time, that'd be pretty cool, actually.
I mean, I think there's really something... I think there's actually something very special. And I don't mean this in a joking way at all. I really mean this. I want to be clear. There's really something special about having someone read you a story.
Mm-hmm.
And especially reading poetry. I think most poetry really gets lost because people read it rather than hear it.
Yeah, it has like you need the. There's like a emotional interpretation that comes with
Yeah.
it being read out loud.
And it forces something different than just hearing your internal dialogue with it. It forces a different interpretation upon the piece. And I think it would be really, really cool to be able to have, a stream where you read through a book. And it would be, if you did like, depending on the book, because it's always going to be a little bit different, 1 to like 2 or 3 chapters, because some authors, they write very short chapters.
Yeah, right. And some
They're
are
very succinct.
super long.
Some like to write a longer chapter. But I think that would be a very cool stream to be able to read a book.
I agree. So at 27, you get auto sneak, so you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, I just unlocked that. And since we're here with the silver deposits, I was just like, this is a good spot to just spend some time
Level up.
leveling up. I would actually really like to do that.
Do some readings.
Yeah.
Well, you could,
I could always write my own stories.
or read public domain books.
That's true.
Isn't like Charles Dickens and stuff? Isn't that all public domain now?
Oh, let me look. Now you got me curious. Because I think like a reading would be kind of interesting.
I'm sure there's non-public domain adaptations of Charles Dickens, but I like the huge yes.
Yeah, Charles Dickens.
So that was just the first
public
author that
domain, yeah.
came to mind, but like Mary Shelley, Frankenstein, that should be public domain now, right?
Yeah.
Jane Austen's probably public domain.
Oh, I believe so.
Like any of those should be fair game for reading.
Yeah, Jane Austen. Yeah, you can use those. So you can start off with reading some public domain stuff.
There's a lot of good books that
Maybe
are
I'll
public
do
domain.
that. I'm actually really in love with this idea of I've got a nice station down here with a good microphone.
Put on like a cozy sweater.
Yeah. And
for some reason a cozy sweater seems.
and read a chapter or two of books. Start with some public domain, and then maybe there might be some authors down the road that would be willing to work with me, and I can do a live reading of their book. Where is my... I accidentally got...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. I'm sure there's someone out there who's doing this.
Probably. There's someone has done everything. Yeah.
Because no idea is really original.
Except for mine. I have an idea where, okay, you know the chicken?
Uh-huh.
What if it was fried?
That's not... Someone's already done that.
I'm talking about in oil
Yeah.
with bread on the outside.
Yeah, some guy from Kentucky beat you to it.
No, this is...
He was a military man.
No. This has special secret herbs and spices on it.
Again... man, you are just like listing off the Kentucky guy's business right now.
I have not finished with my original idea.
Okay, go.
In a bucket.
Somehow you continue down Kentucky guys. Like, just nailing it right now. 100%.
This bucket will be so cool, though. It will be...
Red and white striped?
Do you have a direct line to my brain? Because I think you have a direct line to my brain right now.
I think you went to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I haven't had Kentucky Fried Chicken in like...
I haven't had it in years.
10 years, maybe?
Our 3D prints just finished, so I'm gonna go change them real quick. I'll be right back.
Go, okay, go. Apparently, it's not an original idea. You okay over there? I just heard things falling.
I dropped something.
Oh. Oh no, it's a cat. Checking on the puppy. Why don't you bring her down? So, I've been thinking of some new original ideas that I'm gonna run by her when she gets back. They're very exciting. I'm just seeing if the cat was still here. So, this has been a nice, calm, relaxing stream, I think. I've been getting a lot of silver ore, which is good. So, yeah, I don't know what to talk about with Lexicon, but, good books to read. If you like older sci-fi, some really good books to read. It's the Pride of Chonner series. I really enjoy that series. That's I think that's C.J. Shera. Let me double check that. No, that I've said it out loud, I'm a little worried that I said it wrong. Oh no, it is C.J. Sherry. I don't know if it's Shera, Sherry. It's Cherryh. But she is a great sci-fi author, and the Chonner series is great. I really love the Kif, these 9-foot tall double-mouthed rat creatures that, like, they're sort of space pirates and scavengers. They have like a mouth inside their mouth, and they can only eat like living flesh. They're really creepy. And she also wrote the Foreigner series, I want to say, which is a really great take on sort of what it might be like to interact with aliens that don't have the same sort of grounding and cultural grounding that humans share, and all the stuff that comes from it. The Chonner series centers on a human as well, a human who's sort of gotten lost on a space mission and is picked up by a Chanur captain. The Chonner are these like cat people, and I love how she does aliens in her sci-fi series. Like, the spaceports are kind of divided in half for oxygen breathers and methane breathers. So like, there's a whole group of aliens that don't interact much with the oxygen breathers because they use entirely different atmospheres, but they share a space station. Things like that. And the Chonner are a matriarchal society because the men are too emotional and unpredictable for things like space travel. She's a writer from like the 70s and stuff. I really liked her books a lot. The less good sci-fi, but one I really like, is the Stainless Steel Rat, which was Harry Harrison, I think. And honestly, I only like it because it's sort of a heist, criminal mastermind sort of story set in a sci-fi. But it's not nearly as well written as C.J. Shera. But it has sort of that. I always love heist movies and stuff, so, and it has that vibe. But yeah, C.J. Shera is a fantastic author for science fiction. You know, in the fantasy world, I always loved the Krondor books by Raymond D. Feist, which are based loosely on role-playing games, I believe. And I really liked pretty much all of there's a lot of Krondor series. And a couple video games, Betrayal at Krondor, Betrayal at Antara. Those were both pretty good role-playing games back in the day. but Krondor series, honestly, my favorite ones are the trilogy set in the boy, it's been way too long since I read these. There's another world that gets sort of like shunted through a portal into our world, into like the main Krondor world, and just they're really good. It's like Servant of the Empire, and it ends with Mistress of the Empire, but it follows like a very different world where there's almost no metal, things like that. And it sort of happens contemporaneously with the Rift War saga, or just after it, which was a series in the Krondor books. So, those are also very good books to check out if you're interested in more of a fantasy vibe.